Why document control is harder than it looks. When people hear document control systems, they often picture something painfully corporate: binders, version numbers, approval signatures, and long-winded procedures that feel miles away from the reality of a small business. But here's the truth: every entrepreneur already has a document control system. It's just usually accidental, informal, and fragile. And that's where the problems begin. Document control for small entrepreneurs, the invisible struggle. For freelancers, consultants, coaches, and small business owners, document control usually grows organically. A proposal template saved somewhere. A contract copied and edited repeatedly. Policies adjusted as needed. Training materials updated without clear version tracking. At first, this works. Until it doesn't. Common pain points include multiple versions of the same document in circulation. Unclear ownership: which one is final? No audit trail of changes. Inconsistent language and messaging. Clients or partners receiving outdated information. The irony? Small businesses often avoid document control systems because they feel too big, yet they suffer the consequences more quickly when things go wrong. Corporations have systems, but a different problem. Large organizations usually do have formal document control frameworks. Versioning rules. Approval workflows. Central repositories. Review cycles. On paper, this looks robust. In practice, multinational organizations face a different and far more complex challenge. One document rarely stays in one language. A single policy, instruction, or training document written in English may need to be translated into multiple languages, interpreted across different cultural contexts, applied by teams with different communication norms, used in high-risk or regulated environments. And this is where cracks appear. Translation is not communication. Most organizations treat multilingual document control as a translation problem. They ask, is the translation accurate? Does it match the original wording? Did we use approved terminology? These are important questions, but they are not enough. What's often missing is, how will this document be understood in practice? What assumptions are baked into the original language? Does the translated version signal authority, obligation, flexibility, or guidance in the same way? Will different teams interpret responsibility and accountability consistently? In other words, a document can be perfectly translated and still be dangerously misunderstood. The communication gap nobody audits. Traditional document control systems focus on structure, compliance, traceability. They rarely address linguistic ambiguity, cultural interpretation, power dynamics in language, how people actually read, interpret, and act on documents. This gap becomes critical when instructions cross borders. Responsibility is implied rather than stated. Politeness or indirect language is misread. Guidance is treated as optional or mandatory, depending on culture. And yet, communication skills are almost never included in document control discussions. Where communication skills belong in document control. Whether you're a solo entrepreneur or a global organization, effective document control requires more than templates and repositories. It requires awareness of how language shapes behavior, clarity around intent, authority, and responsibility, consistency not just of wording, but of meaning, recognition that documents are lived tools, not static files. For small businesses, this can be the difference between looking professional versus appearing chaotic, scaling smoothly versus constantly fixing misunderstandings. For international organizations, it can be the difference between alignment and confusion, compliance and risk, trust and reputational damage. Final thought. Document control systems don't fail because people don't care. They fail because language and communication are treated as technical afterthoughts rather than human systems. Translation alone is not enough. And communication skills deserve a seat at the table right from version 1.0.